Hello. Hi, how are you? I am trying. Chloe, how are you? I miss you. Where have you been all my life? Hey, Anika, there you are. Okay. Anika, in. I miss you too, Chloe. Hola, hi everyone.
Hey! Here we are, virtually together.
Finally! Oh my God! This is like tear. This is just like insane. I feel like we went from seeing each other like at least twice a week.
At least.
At least, like sometimes like five times a week.
Absolutely.
In a good week. But like now it's been like 7 months, a year and a half.
So sad.
It's crazy.
Still like finding my light here, but I think I'm pretty good.
Listen, my light, is it too bright? Do I look like a ghost?
No, you look good.
Like,
you look like you're on set.
Perfect. Yes. So that's a percent. So, oh my God. So while everybody's joining in, basically, let me tell you well, I am Carla Choco, and this is beautiful Anika here with us today. Basically, what we're going to be doing is like interviewing a bunch of like dancers, dance friends. Chloe, I'm coming to get you next. Like everybody also, like all the teachers here at Soul Dance Center, we're going to be interviewing them and just to check on them because I don't get to see anyone and I just hope everybody's doing okay and that we're all surviving. I'm surviving.
Yep.
So, how is everything over there? Like, how is your beautiful, she's in nature, so jealous.
It's lovely. It's definitely like I'm just grateful. I wake up every morning and like I'm just really grateful to be like looking out at trees when I wake up, and so I'm super excited.
That's so nice.
Insane, and I'm with my family, so just being around my parents and taking care of them is also really helpful.
That's super nice to be able to be with your loved ones in these crazy times. It's just like so important.
Right. And it's not like not a lot of people are able to be, and I've heard lots of like terrible stories about how they're across country from parents, and
I can only imagine.
Definitely a very emotional time, and I just am so grateful to be where I am, but I miss all my soul family.
I know, it's just so, it's like so wild every time you're like, oh, it's almost over, not really.
I know.
It's just the beginning.
I know. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. How's everything with you though, Miss Choco?
Well, we are here in Soul Dance Center, which is so weird to like have it be so empty.
Right?
I know, it's like crickets everywhere. So basically, I want to start with asking you, we're going to just get started and like
people will join.
Get going. People, if you join, we're going to have questions at the end. If you have any questions, comments, whatever you want to share. Basically, we want to know, what was your dance journey like? Like, how did you start your dance journey? Where was it? And was there like a specific point that it was like a turning point of like, okay, this is more than a hobby. This is like a career or something like that?
Sure. So I've been dancing since I was 2 years old. Started as a mommy and me class, so my mom's fault.
Everyone, yeah.
All her fault. So I took that class when I was little, and basically, like, I think for me, it's just sort of like dance is a consistent. Like, it hasn't ever not been in my life. The short time that it wasn't, when I was super injured, which you remember, I felt like I was really lost and wasn't myself. So it's kind of been like just sort of like breathing for me. It's something that I wake up every day thinking about and I go to sleep thinking about. So it's hard to tell like when the moment was, because I think it's always been, that's just like who I am. And, but I think for me, just deciding professionally, like when I wanted to just like, this is what I was going to do, is around when I was looking at colleges and like, am I going to go to college? Am I going to go and like do dance solely? And as you know, I decided to move to New York City, and I actually was planning to go to a dance conservatory, but I hadn't even gotten in. So it was kind of like a leap of faith, just decided to move to New York City. Like, here I am, okay.
Not good.
But it was better because then when I auditioned, I was there and they saw me taking classes, and then they were like, actually, you're pretty good. You can come into the thing.
You're already part of the system.
Yeah, exactly. So I did the dance conservatory, which was then DNA, Dance New Amsterdam, is now Gibney Dance. They changed owners and whatnot, so they still exist, sort of, have.
Somewhere, yeah.
But that was really, for me, just being in New York City and thriving on that dance community, which has changed a lot over the past, like, 11 years. So when I was around 11 years ago.
I know, that's just so crazy how, like, time flies.
Time flies. It's crazy. But I know, like, for me, so then it sort of, like, did that path because I thought I was going to be a professional dancer. Like, I thought I was just going to solely, like, try to get into modern and contemporary companies, and then my knee injury happened, so that was like, okay, now what? Like, now I have this injury and it's serious and I could get surgery, but 50-50 chance I'm going to feel the same or worse. And so I think that was kind of the moment for me where I lost myself. I didn't know what to do. I was still in school, but I was really lost. And so sort of someone at some point, one of my physical therapists said, you just need a break. Like, you have to stop or you won't ever succeed.
Recover.
You're just never going to be okay. So I made the decision to move back to Maine, where my family lives. Actually, in this apartment I stayed.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I was here for around 8 months and I stopped dancing. It was probably the biggest depression that I've ever been through in my life. God. But I kept reminding myself, like, you're doing this to heal, but when dance isn't in my life, it's like, what is life? I don't know.
What is life without dance? Yeah. I know.
Right.
Tell me, that's how I feel right now, right?
Right.
Like, this is the feeling.
So the feeling. So, yeah, I'm having a little bit of PTSD from some of that. Different scenario. So, yeah, so then I took the break, and then that was a big moment for me. Like, I feel awful and I don't know what to do. And I never thought about teaching. Like, I never thought I would be a teacher. Like, I was like, I'm going to dance. Like, that was kind of it. And I met this girl called Carla Choco.
No, it's all my fault. No, it's all my fault.
You and my mother. You and Libra.
Bad influence.
So you had the studio, and before I left, we had hung out, and I'd helped out at multiple events, but I was like limping in the background, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And you were like, well, have you ever thought about teaching? So that honestly, like, clap to you, because it really opened up the whole idea for me. Like, oh yeah, I could teach. Like, I do know how to teach. Like, I guess I have a teaching mind. I was choreographing all the time in my mind. Like, why don't I put it on somebody's body or my body?
Yeah.
So then, you know, the rest is history. I moved back to New York and started working for Soul Dance Center.
I know, and it's been how long? Like forever?
Yeah, like 10 years. We're going on like our 11th year at Soul, right? So pretty much since the start, because, you know, the first few months of Soul, I was like just in the background making drinks. At this
like, I'm here.
Making the margaritas, yeah. But then, yeah, so I think, yeah, there wasn't a turning point really, but there were sort of these moments within my whole life that,
journey,
right, it's just caused the way that I am now, and now I'm here, not doing what I was
not dancing. Back to
but I am dancing a lot. I've done a ton of freestyling. I've realized
that's nice.
I feel like I start to feel really weird and I realize I haven't danced that day. So even if it's a song and I throw it on, that's what's getting me through all of this and just keeping me moving, because I never want to be in that moment where I don't dance again. So
I know. That's the attitude. Yes, for that attitude. I love it.
Wrong answer of that question.
Dance forever. I'm going to dance forever.
Dancing
I know.
Stop dancing. Just keep dancing.
So, like, what is your favorite thing, like, to do? Like, would it be, like, teaching, choreographing, dancing, freestyling? Like, if you just had to pick one, like, I need to just forever after be able to...
I think freestyle now.
Nice.
I definitely think that I need an element of teaching in my life. You know, it's part of who I am now. But I've found, like, just sort of a journey of this freestyle stuff now, which, you know, I've freestyled always.
Yeah.
But I've been doing some really cool, like, Freestyle Friday challenges with some friends, and it's sort of opening my mind to, like, a new like idea of freestyling, because I've used some music that I've never danced to before, and so there's just, like, it's like, oh, freestyle, and then there's, like, oh, dig in, and all the freestyle things that you can do. So it's just kind of a new journey for me. So yeah, freestyle I think is my number one, but definitely teaching is number two.
Up there. It's up there too.
It's up there with it.
Now, let me ask you something, and this is like, what's your best or like most amazing experience with dance, and like your worst, most like horrifying experience with dance?
Okay, let's start with a good one. Actually, there's been a couple, definitely. One of the big, like, I feel like one of my biggest moments, because of the amount of people and whatnot, was Salsa Congress all those years ago. I think that it was a breakthrough moment for a lot of us, and like we showed up in like this massive Congress and did our dance.
That was Pekle's first dance with us too.
Yeah, so like it also, I think to me, means a lot, because it's like where we kind of like all started on this journey too, like my little net of, you know, beautiful dancers. So I think that was amazing just as a whole, because, you know, we were there and then we took like Eddie Torres's class, and like there was so much that happened that day that I think I always just like cherish that moment forever. I mean, there's been amazing things, obviously, but
of course.
That was really big for me on just like also a personal level. And then like also just some little gigs that I've done here and there, like with Jay Watts and different like performing art, was also like big moments for me, but that's the one that sticks out. And worst, probably when I almost passed out.
Almost died.
Almost died one time. So that was during a Dansanity. The Dansanity was going great until that moment.
Until Anika decided, this is where I take a break.
Yeah. So,
from life.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, there's been bad things, like there's been gigs that were bad and like this and that. I mean, when have we, you know, the times we've come and like nobody knows how to play our music, how many times has that happened? And whatever. But I think that's just like, it's gonna forever be like in my mind of just, I almost fainted and I couldn't. I guess for me the final thing was like I wasn't able to finish the show, right? And it's kind of like
that's crazy.
You're brought up with like the show must go on, right? And then it was like I'm laying on the floor like the show must go on.
Going on. What is going on?
Eat this banana and we'll see you after. Okay, so
yeah.
Like, hey Frida! Oh my God, Frida joined us. My little cutie. Okay, so anyway, I think that was like my biggest moment, was really just like, because you feel sort of just incomplete in a way, right? Like you don't get to complete something, and like even if a show goes terribly, like, and you did it all, you can go like, well, that was crap, but we did it, you know.
But we did it, yeah.
So that was just one that was never like completed in my mind, and I mean, everyone did make the show go on, and that was incredible. So all of during the show, you know, made
we tried.
Yeah.
Well, like, you go there and be Anika. Good luck.
You're going to now change the whole career, okay? On the show day.
I know. That was so crazy. I mean, I'm glad it was at least with us. Like, it was just like, okay. Like, it didn't happen with, like, you know, you need to be comfortable, too. Like, with, like, some random people, like, on a Broadway stage of, like, oh, everybody's going to hate you forever or something like that, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, but I'm so happy you made it. You survived.
The show went on.
I know, for sure.
Days.
So now my other question would be, like, we have a lot of kids here at Seoul, and you, like, teach so many of them, like, all of them. But also in general, like, I always thought, like, kids are the future of this earth, as it is.
Yes.
How is it, like, what's the benefits in dance, like, for life? Like, what is something that, no matter if you're not going to be a professional dancer, no matter if you're not going to be a teacher, or this or that, like, what's going to be the benefits that dance is going to bring to you no matter what?
Loaded question.
Very deep.
Yeah. So I'll try not to go too deep. I think that, honestly, just the overpowering feeling of freedom, which I hope that they feel. I mean, I definitely try to achieve giving them the freedom, and sometimes they don't want it, like freestyle times. They're like,
I know. So much freedom.
Right. But just like freedom of movement, freedom of, I think, almost every class I've ever taken, almost every class I've ever seen, like, watched, taught, or, you know, like, seen teachers through the class at Seoul, is like, there's always moments for freedom for your students, whatever style you do. So just sort of the ability to make your own decisions, but also the ability to not make your own decision, right? Like, you can stay very much in that, like, I'm going to just follow the way the teacher does it and that's it. But you are making the decision, because the teachers usually throw out, if you want to do an arm, or you want to shimmy a little more, or you want to, you know, do a freestyle somewhere in the middle there. I think that that's just one big piece. And I hope that that can kind of go into the larger picture of just life in general, is like, you can make your decisions and your decisions are valid, I guess, is really right. Like, you can make those decisions and you can stand by them. You don't have to be shy about the decision you made. And so I think that's one thing that translates out of dance, I guess.
And exploring your personality too, without what you're saying. It's kind of like, you have that freedom of, like, oh, I can be a little over here. You know?
Right. And a lot of these kids, like, just speaking mainly with soul kids, like, a lot of these kids take multiple different kinds of dance, right? So they're going from ballet through Latin, hip hop, reggaeton, like, you know, like, jazz, all the styles that they take, and then within that, that's the freedom, and like, but they're finding all, I don't know, it's just like a whole thing. They get to just explore it all. So, yeah.
And I feel like that nowadays is so important, from, like, back in the day in Mexico when I was a dancer, like, it was like, oh, what kind of dancer are you? This type, and that's it. Like,
very much in a box.
Very specific.
Yeah.
But now you gotta, like, what kind of, like, if you want to be a dancer, you gotta know everything.
Every
like,
possible thing.
All styles, like house, reggaeton, heels.
And they'll acrobatics you sometimes, right? Like, auditions sometimes nowadays, they're like, okay, now just do a freestyle in jazz, and then you're just like, okay. Right? But sometimes specific types of jazz, right? Or, like, you know, some things that, like, we haven't even started to dig in with some of these kids. But it's crazy. Like, yeah, you need to know it all. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Hi, Javi. How are you? We miss you. We miss everybody.
I know.
So he's asking us if we, like, should get the kids directly from the schools, and, like, have we thought of that? We have done some shows and things with schools directly, but sometimes it's hard to get in it because they would like us to bring our students to perform, but it's at school hours. So we need to get the parents to let the students take a break from school to go perform and recruit to another school. So still we're gonna like keep playing, and you know it's a like game of like how to figure it out, but we will keep working on it. Don't you worry. Thank you for your suggestion.
Thanks for suggestions.
Right. I have another question. So right now we are in these times of like, I don't want to call them crazy, but they are kind of like, I never even in a million years thought of this would ever happen. Like, it's like in the movies.
Right.
So in these times of like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like living by the day, by the moment, like on the spot. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if I'm going to go back to dance, if I'm going to go back to teach, if I'm going to move for forever to Mexico. Like we don't know what's happening.
Absolutely.
What's your relationship? I think you talked a little bit at the beginning about it, but like, how is dance helping you get through that?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly getting me through it. I think that's just sort of the underlying piece of it.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have it, I mean, if you know me, you know I'm like crazy about yoga too. So I definitely am pairing that with yoga, which is more for my mind and body connection. But I mean, dance does that too. So it is really getting me through all of this. And I feel like dance, whether you do it professionally or you do it for fun, it's an expression, and it's been just a way for me to let emotions go, because some days you're scrolling and you see cancellations. Like it happened to me a few days ago that I found out, like, you know, big places like Jacob's Pillow and a dance place I used to, like one of the big Bates Dance Festival that happens in Maine, like they're not doing anything this summer. They've canceled. And it sort of hits you as a dancer, like, oh, what? Like that seems crazy. That seems really far away, and like
bizarre.
Trying to go like day by day, and then it's like, oh, July is canceled, and you're like,
I know.
Right? So,
see you next year.
Right. So I've been really like some of those moments when you feel stuck, like just freestyling or even just like moving my body around, whether it's like actually doing some cool dance or just moving. I've also started doing this like Sunday like dance and play in my backyard because I'm quarantined with a few people. So we have a trampoline, and I'm really lucky. Again, here's a moment where I'm like, I'm so here. We put a trampoline up in the backyard, and so we're out there, and like I just play music and I dance and move, and it's just been a way for me to kind of breathe well and feel like myself, because I feel just like if I think about it too much, it's overwhelming. I can't even fathom what is going on, and so that definitely dance has gotten me through it, sort of, period. And so I've just been adding that into my life pretty much daily, and that's
so good. There's like, I don't know if it's a quote or a saying or what it is, if someone told me, but like it's almost, unless it's like choreographed, but it's almost impossible to be like sad while you're dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, let's say salsa, and you're like crying.
Right.
Like you're probably not gonna be able to do it.
Right. No. And then it's like I've done a couple things when I really needed to be sad, and I was very sad, and then I felt so much better. You know what I mean? Like like a contemporary, like.
Yes, for sure. It just lets it go.
Right. So it sometimes, especially now, I feel like it's so stuck. Like we're on our phones or screens all the time. Like I'm here with Zaya, my niece, and like she's doing school. She's on the computer or on her phone all day long. And then it's like, and then if she wants to talk to a friend or something, she's on her screen again. And it's the screen time has gone from like pretty bad to like, wow,
horrible,
off the charts. So that's like kind of just crazy, and I think that that dance is like a way also to get out of that and just move. Even if you want to record yourself and the screen's technically there, it's like get yourself away from that and really release what's going on, and then put on like the happy salsa, like your favorite thing, you know, and start dancing around, and then like you're gonna feel better and kind of forget about what's going on for a little while. So
for sure, yeah, I think that what you said with the screen time is so scary. Like I even feel it myself, because you're like, you don't even realize, but then at some point I'm like, I don't know if I'm going like crazy. My eyes are not functioning. My brain hurts. Like I don't know what's happening. It's just too much, you know.
Right.
So going back to dance, like how do you see yourself related, like with dance, short term now, in terms of like if we ever get back out of this lockdown, and in let's say 30 years, or like what do you think is gonna be the reference like now and then, or difference?
Okay, like for me, how I am now and then how I'm gonna be then, kind of like down the line.
You're like 105 and dancing around.
Still dancing. I think I'm definitely in this point in my life. So most people know I'm in my 30s. So I'm kind of like in that point of life where I'm looking at like what I'm doing and how I want to change, or what I want to continue with, or what I want to kind of let go of. And so I've been actually starting to play around with props a lot, like different types of props. I do stuff with veils. I mean, and we've played with things over the years for this and that, but kind of diving into those more specifically, and that goes kind of in the same line with my like freestyling, right? Because you're kind of like trying to figure out how a prop works.
Yes.
So I've like worked with veils and some poi, and I've also started doing like with fire on my hands. I have like
I love it.
Torches. So and then I went out to visit Miss D Dot, and I tried Lyra for the first time ever and fell in love, and it's so hard, but so beautiful. So I definitely see myself now kind of like sort of exploring a new aspect of dance. You know, like I've definitely played around. We had Isis Wing choreos to the max, right? But I think that that's sort of where I am now, is just like exploring that, because I'm realizing like now is the time. Like Lyra is incredibly hard, right? Lyra is like, you gotta have muscle, you gotta be able to pull yourself up. Like there's moves you're like, oh, that looks so easy, and then you're like, I'm So and I definitely, I mean, Diana's been a huge inspiration, just like how strong she's become with her pole and Lyra stuff. So I think it sort of went in vain with me. You know, I started like the yoga journey, and I've been strengthening my body in a different light. I sort of before was like, okay, crunches. Like it's just a different mindset, and that kind of follows it. So that's like now I think is just sort of like exploring new ways to move and to use other things besides myself. You know, like adding things in to change up the life. And then, down the line, I mean, it's hard to say, but I definitely think I'll be dancing till the day I die. I think that there'll always be an aspect of that. I hope that will sort of like, you know, what my new venture will also like continue to get me like into the next aspect of my life and sort of push me. I think that we say it all the time, is like, you're never done learning. And I think as dancers, we crave learning, right? And then it's kind of like you kind of get to a point, and maybe you're not the best. Like, I'm not the most amazing hip hop dancer, but I feel like I've come to a point where I'm like, okay, like I feel pretty like I definitely feel accomplished. Absolutely. I know there's like, wow, so much more to go, but it's kind of like that I've reached where I am, and I'm ready to try something new and learn a new technique altogether. And I think that that's what's drawing me with prop stuff. And I think that that's kind of like that. I just hope that we continue that and like down the line 30 years or forever after. It's like I'm going to be going to something and keeping what I've always learned, because then you kind of just take that with you, but you're still like exploring new things, and maybe there'll be a new style in 30 years that we've never tried before. There'll
probably be like 70,000 new styles in 30 years.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the beauty of dance. Like everything is dance. Like Buto, like when I found out about Buto, which if you don't know it, please Google it. Do some research. I was like, this is like a whole other world. Like you can go so many different ways with dance, and there's so many different, like, it's just, you can go crazy and try it all, or like go very passionate about one specific thing and then explore props, like you said. It's just amazing, and just don't stop, because that's what's gonna keep us active. Also, dance is really good for our brains, like to keep it active, and hopefully we don't get like too old that we start like losing our mind.
Yeah, no, it's proven to like be that, and it just immediately like sets your endorphins off too. I mean, it's just like it's so good for you. It's every
Let's dance forever. So perfect demonstration. So now we'll get to your question, Javi, in a second. But now I'm gonna do like a little fun turbo round. Okay. Not really dance related. Just I'm gonna like ask you a bunch of questions, and you're gonna tell me whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay.
Don't even think. Well, think a little bit.
Okay.
I know, right? Like, what's my name? Okay. What's your favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite animal?
Oof. All of them. Goats.
All of them goats. Okay. What's your favorite season?
Spring. But not this spring. This spring's been awful.
Not 2020 specific.
Not 2020. Normally spring.
What's your favorite TV show?
Outlander right now. I'm super obsessed.
Okay. Favorite movie?
The Matrix.
Oh, that's a good one, especially now. Who is your favorite human?
Oh, my favorite human. I think my favorite human is my husband, Ilde. I think that it's not just for love, but he's been impressing me, even especially right now.
That's nice.
Inspires me. So yeah, Ilde.
Who is your favorite pet?
Oh, good thing they're not in the room with me. My favorite pet's Kiko.
Oh, Kiko! I love Kiko. He's the best.
He's the best.
What's your favorite body part?
Ooh, my upper back.
Nice. What's your favorite drink?
Matcha.
I know. I do that.
She's like, I was testing you there.
Very nice.
Kombucha, though. Those are like, so yeah.
Kombucha is right up there, too. Okay. What's your favorite activity?
Dancing.
Makes sense to me. What brings you joy?
Dance.
Very good. You're passing the test. What are you scared about?
Wow. Deep. I am scared about a lot of things.
Panicking.
I'm sort of scared of what's going on right now, and I won't dig into that, but I'm scared about it. So that's very different.
I know, very
Another interview.
That's a whole other 6-hour interview. What's your favorite song?
Ooh, that's awful.
I know. I knew I would get you with that one.
I'm kind of like really digging Ed Sheeran right now, so we'll just say in general, you put on one of his songs, the upbeat ones, not the super.
Yeah. Okay. Good. What's your dream job?
Oh, my dream job is to have my own business that hopefully incorporates a sanctuary.
Goats. What's your dream retirement location?
That's a hard one. I kind of want to like be certain places at certain times of the year. So I guess I would want to have like 2 homes.
Like 7.
Yeah, like 50 homes. But I want to be somewhere warm when it's cold, and like have the ability to see the seasons, because of course I grew up with seasons, and that's something I crave, but the winters get long. So, yeah.
Very long.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. Yay! You did really good. Well, Javi, I don't know if he's still there, but he was asking us, when are we doing a pro team, I guess, for adults?
Yeah.
Hopefully, if we are ever out of our houses, we will work on that with David. We will make him organize something and get us into shape.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe. Okay, cool. So thank you so much for doing this and like spending time with me. I miss you so much. Oh my God, so good to see you. Any final thoughts that you want to like, something that you want to give to the world, whatever, thoughts, message, anything?
I think just keep dancing is my main thing for everybody, whether you're in the Soul Dance Center group or you're watching this outside of the Soul Bubble. I think that it's really important to do a little dance every day. Carla's been on TikTok, I've noticed, so she dances.
I know, that's like all the dance I can do, 20 seconds.
But hey, you're doing it. So I think it's kind of like that. Just show up for yourself every day and do a little something, whether it's a little bit of a stretch or something else like that. If you know or don't know, I have a company with my husband, Pareja Vegana, and we started a challenge. So we're doing daily challenges to get active and have fun. And I think that's been a saving grace for all of us. So just doing something fun every day is like super important, whether it's dance or just throwing on some music and like cooking to music. There's so much sadness and so much just sort of confusion and, like you said, living day to day. And dance is a consistent. It's not going to go away. And the online stuff's been incredible. I'm not just saying dance because we're here at Soul Dance Center Live. I'm just saying that it's something you can count on. Music can be played and you can move your body, whether it's like this or you're doing something full out. Like that's been one of the amazing things about this virtual experience is all of the people that I follow that dance or don't dance are dancing. Like I see videos and they're like doing a TikTok or they're doing something else, but they're doing something like that and I'm seeing it and it makes me really happy. So
I think we need to balance out the crazy energy with some like
let it out, moving your body, like even if you're like, I feel so stupid. Like earlier today I was just doing something crazy. I turned to Dia and said, imagine I danced like that. She was like, oh no.
She's like, I will not be taking your class.
I would never take your class. So, just remember that, like, especially if you're alone, like that makes me like so sad, the people that are quarantined alone and only have like virtual experiences. And if you're one of those people, I send my love and light to you. And we are here for you. And that's one thing is like the together alone hashtag, but it really means we are here. We're here for each other. And the virtual aspect is there, but on your own, like find what gives you joy, I guess is the number one thing. And if you don't know what finds joy for you in that moment of just crazy, put on the music and maybe just move your shoulders.
I think putting music is a great way to start. Like turning off the news, putting the phone, like the Instagram, the Facebook, all of this away for a second. Play like some good music that you like and like your mood is gonna like switch.
Absolutely. And sometimes we just forget it's that simple and it can be that simple. I mean, if you're really, really sad.
So thank you so much. I really love it. I'm so glad I get to see you finally after 7 months in quarantine.
I know.
It feels like forever. I know. Freedom! And also, if you didn't know, you will know now, but I'm interviewing Diana on Monday.
Yay!
So that's going to be fun.
Hi for D-Dot. She's amazing.
Yes, she's super cool. We love her, and she'll be here on Monday with us. I'll get to talk to her, and hopefully we'll still be in touch because that's life. But everybody, thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for coming, Anika. I love you.
I love you, Choco. Take care.
Bye. Have a good one.